There he is. Come. Oh, do I got it? To be honest with you, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try fly fishing. I honestly think that it's fun. I think that it's just a different feel for when you catch the fish. It's just a different technique you got to use. Everybody has their own techniques, their own rods and baits and what have you to catch fish. But the reason why I'm skeptical about fly fishing because it's just not my style. You know, I do like using the reels when I'm reeling in the fish. I like manhandling my fish, and not necessarily saying that you can't manhandle your fish when you're fly fishing, but I honestly think I have more options using my rod and reel than if I was using a fly rod. One of my reasons for not venturing to the dark side of fly fishing is that doing this constantly, I honestly think, you know, making 10 casts in one is kind of ridiculous to me. Now, like I said, it's just a different technique, but at the end of the day, I just think you'll tire yourself out. You just keep doing that constantly. Now, another reason is that fly fishing is kind of a surface type fishing. Now, I do understand that you can put heavier line and a heavier fly to make your bait sink deeper into the water. If you're using a rod and reel, like how I'm always using, only thing you have to do is just change the bait. The bait, top water, you can be jigging off the bottom, or you can be swimming. And, you know, another thing, like I said, don't get me wrong, like I'm not knocking fly fishing at all. You know, I see YouTubers and anglers out there catching big fish on fly rods. You know, it's just another technique that I feel is not for me. But I will say this, last week when I was fishing with the veterans, I said they all like to fly fish. They caught more fish than I did. You know, last Thursday when I was out fishing with the veterans, all of them were using their fly rods and they outfished me. Now, they were catching anything from brim to crappie to bass. I was strictly going for bass, and that's all I caught. And I would say that from the time that I was out there, I caught more than them. And I had to figure out what these bass wanted. You know, I was on the bottom using a 10-inch worm. I was using a spinnerbait, a chartreuse spinner, but I wasn't getting that bite that I was getting, and they were actually outfishing me before I switched to the wacky rig with a black and blue Cinco. And from that point on, it was like every other cast, you know, I was getting hit or I was catching fish. And I just think fly fishing, it'll just be too much to kind of switch up where you want your bait to go. Well, you know, another reason why I don't fly fish is I just feel that it'll take too long to reel the fish in, and if you're not taking your time on a fly rod and you're just pulling that line in, pulling that fish in, I think you'll have a greater chance of losing that fish. But using a rod and reels I always use, I feel like I have a greater chance of getting that fish in more quicker, you know, and it reduces my chances of losing that fish. So yeah, fly fishing just ain't for me. But if you like what you see, please definitely subscribe, like, share, comment. Let me know what you all think. But until then, I'm Don. Peace.